Yep, Charlamagne the God.
Andrew Schultz.
We are the Brilliant Idiots, and this week's podcast is sponsored by nobody.
That's true, man.
All right?
Sponsored by the Brilliant Idiots this
It's
week.
sponsored by the Brilliant Idiots. So
We're giving
please,
it to you ourselves.
Go to BrilliantIdiotsMerch.com. Salute to High U Clothing.
Yes.
Go get you. So I saw somebody post some Brilliant Idiots socks earlier today.
We got the wax tees up there. The wax tee, I think their first run sold out, so we're gonna make some more. We got the Hezzy tee, it's up there. We got a bunch of other tees. Make sure you get those. We got some good shit coming.
I saw Neil Brennan the other day. He did not like your Hezzy tee. I saw him like last week.
Oh yeah, he was so
he was
upset
like, I saw
about
Andrew. He had a fucking Hezzy tee. I'm like, who the fuck wears their name on his shirt?
First of all, if I'm not willing to wear it,
that's what I said. Well, if he don't wear it,
then who would, right?
No, wait, that's not right. Because we want people to go buy one.
Wait, say that again. If I'm embarrassed to wear it, then I can't tell someone else to go wear it. So I got to endorse it. But to be completely honest, I would never go on stage with that. In life, I just wore it to the podcast this morning. I didn't go back home until later that night, and I saw him at the Cellar when we were doing shows.
A comedy show.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was going to the Cellar. I was like, dude, I know I'm going to get destroyed by some comics for this shit. But you just got to do it, man. I got to stand by.
I didn't get it. And the only reason I didn't get it is because I'm black. And we wear our names on our shirts.
Well, that's another thing. Like, Neil should know better because every black comic has a like the earthquake tee or like
your face, a quote.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's like I don't know. Maybe there's like a white like a humility thing or like self-deprecating thing where you're like not supposed to really like yourself or brand yourself or sell products.
I love Neil, man. I love Neil because Neil really says the first thing that comes to his mind. Like Neil saw my wife and he goes, "Yeah, last time I saw you didn't have braces." Or some shit. She's like, "You're too." He was like, "You don't need braces." And she goes,
"Unfiltered."
And she's been listening to Cardi B. So she's like, "I got a bag and fix my teeth." And he was like, "Oh yeah, his motherfucker here with his book money." I'm like, "What are we talking about right now?" And this is a random ass conversation. I went to the Chappelle show last week. It was phenomenal.
Who'd you see?
Oh my God, it was Dave Chappelle, of course. Donnell Rollins. Donnell Rollins is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Donnell's
amazing.
Is a phenomenal stand-up comedian. Like, I've seen him before, and I know he's funny, but
people sleep on Donnell.
No, Donnell's otherworldly, bro. Like, he's a great.
Yeah,
like, he is funny on that fucking stage, man.
Because Donnell could write, but he's also a hilarious character.
Yes,
like he operates
the way he looks.
And the way he acts, his voice. Like, there's so many things that go into being a great stand-up. Like, you having a funny persona is one of them. Some people could just do the pen. They can't really perform. They don't have it. Donnell has a funny-ass voice.
Yes, man.
He's got a great persona.
Yes.
And he could write his ass off with the jokes.
And he brings real life into his comedy. Like, he's a father now, and he's an old-ass father. So he talks about that, and he talks about why he named his son Austin. Like, Donnell's incredible. Like, Dave Chappelle's, we know Chappelle's going to be funny.
The expectation was lower from Donnell, and he exceeded it.
Yeah. Even though I knew Donnell was funny because I've seen his stand-up before, but he's like on one right now. And then we saw Marlon Wayans was there.
How was Marlon?
Marlon was cool.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was cool. You know what I'm saying?
It's not his like his original hustle. Marlon came late to the game.
I like Marlon better in movies. I like Marlon on TV.
That's what he's more natural doing.
Yeah. It wasn't. He wasn't whack. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was funny. We laughed. Will Savint's funny.
Oh, Will could bring it down.
It was funny. And then Erykah Badu performed, so it was great. And then the best show was backstage because he was backstage and like Tiffany Haddish was back there,
right,
drunk. And that was a great time. So you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Neil was back there. So it was that was fun. Yeah. And salute to Tiffany. Her stand-up special comes out.
I think it came out.
No, it comes out this Friday.
Oh, this Friday. Okay.
It's Friday on Showtime.
So check that out on Showtime, guys.
It's called From the Hood to Hollywood. Yeah. Also, please go buy Black Privilege. Opportunity comes to those who create it. If you haven't yet. Yes. You got any dates, shows?
Yeah, I'll be in Buffalo the 24th through the 26th at Helium Comedy Club. Make sure you come out for that. And then the 26th, after the second show, we're going to go watch the fight somewhere. People have been telling me about different places, 716 Bar or something like that, but we're going to go check it out. And then I'll be in San Diego the 14th through the 16th of September at the American Comedy Company. We're going to be doing Brilliant Idiots live here in New York City, September 30th. You can get tickets for that at the Highline Ballroom website. And we're going to be doing Brilliant Idiots live in Milwaukee on October 28th. And then make sure you save November 9th. If you're in the NYC area, save November 9th on your calendars. That's going to be a fun day. And I'm going to Burning Man, bro, in a couple weeks.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm excited, bro.
Maybe in a couple weeks. All depends if we're still here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the way the country is going.
That's right.
Definitely Civil War, maybe World War III. I mean, pick what kind of war you want, baby. You know what I mean? We missed out on a lot of good stuff. You don't got to read about it anymore in the history books. You know what I mean? You can pick which one you want to participate in. You want to do Civil or World?
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure, baby. You know what I mean? If you ain't on the West Coast, you probably don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? You know, if Kim Jong-un actually has something that can get there in 30 minutes, I don't know. You know, I don't know, man. I don't even know where to begin on this topic. I mean, right now, where I'm at right now,
Talk to me,
where
yeah.
my mind is right now, I'm very upset because people get upset when I say crack ass cracker.
Okay.
Because nobody listens to nuance anymore, and I can explain this till I'm blue in the face. There's good white people, period.
Yeah.
Like, there's just good natured human beings that have white skin.
Right.
But racist, bigoted, prejudiced people like we saw in Charlottesville, West Virginia,
right.
Those are what we call white devils. Not West Virginia. In Virginia, those are what we call white devils. Those are what we call crack-ass crackers.
Sure.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you don't want to be labeled a crack-ass cracker or a white devil, then don't do crack-ass cracker or white devil shit. And I hate how people are like, you shouldn't call them that. You know, why are we being politically correct with the scum of the earth? I don't get it.
You make a great argument. I guess what people, I'm sure you've probably heard this argument a bunch of times, which is like, would you be okay if non-black people called the scum of the earth black people the N-word?
It depends.
So
like,
you'd be okay?
Listen, I know for me,
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Me personally,
I don't use that word regardless.
I've said all the time, niggas gonna nig, right?
That's why I've defended you in saying this. I go, when anybody's brought this up to me, because people have hit me up, they're like, yo, what he's doing is you know, hypocritical, it's fucked up. And I go, he's actually keeping the same energy.
Yes.
Because you've always called black people who didn't approve of their behavior the N-word. I
use the N-word in context. All right? I don't use it as a term of endearment with my people. When I say I don't talk the N-words after 5 p.m., hey, and I say N-words of all colors, but it is what it is.
I appreciate people with principles. And I feel in this argument, you're principled. I wouldn't use that word, and I wouldn't say it because I don't want to attribute behavior to a skin color. I want to attribute behavior to choices.
But here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but the N-word, the word nigga, is a word that is used by any white racist to demean a black person.
Sure. Or any racist in general to demean a black
you got to earn the title cracker ass cracker. You got to earn that white devil. Like, I didn't grow up just looking at random white people and be like, oh, look at that cracker. Whenever I would even hear my father or my uncles or anybody use that term, it was because a white person was exhibiting some bigoted behavior.
So a black person, the best black person can be an N-word. To some people.
Exactly. Will Smith, Oprah.
Right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I forget if he's black sometimes. He's amazing. He's amazing. I was reading about him the other day. Amazing.
So I get what you're saying. Like, the best black person
could be an N-word to the lowest common denominator, poor white racist.
And you feel to be a cracker, you have to be a bad white person.
Absolutely.
Are there like people who just hate white people and they call all white people crackers?
I'm sure there are. And that's wrong. That's generalizing. That's why I keep making a difference. And that's why
That's very, I like, this is, go.
Yeah,
I don't want to cut you off.
That's why on Monday, I had white people, good white people, call the Breakfast Club. I said, if you're a good white person, if you're a non-racist white person, call up the Breakfast Club right now and denounce white devils.
Yeah.
And condemn crack-ass crackers.
Yeah.
And they were calling up doing it. They had no problem doing it because they understood the difference. They're happy that, yes, please, don't lump me in with them. We have to make the distinction. The reason we have to make the distinction, because when you say things like this, right? White nationalists. Where's the separation? What's the separation between Richard Spencer and you when you just say white nationalists?
Of course.
If I say white supremacy, what's the separation between Chris and, David Duke? It's just white. There's no separation. You're just saying white nationalists, white supremacy. Now, do all white people benefit from white supremacy? Of course they do. That's why it is up to white people to stand up and denounce it. Yeah. Because we didn't create this mess. Your ancestors did. So it's up to y'all to clean it up.
Well, a couple things on that. One, you said use your white privilege to combat
prejudice.
Combat white supremacy. Or prejudice.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say use your proximity, not privilege. White supremacy is white people's issue. It's on us.
Absolutely.
You're not in the white communities. Well, now you are because you're rich. But you're not, you know what I'm saying? But like, you're not in the white community. You know what I'm saying? Off the phone. You're not in, off the phone. You're not in the white, you're not in the community. Right?
Got you.
I'm actually not really in the community, but there are white communities that see this shit bubbling up. And it's on white people to handle it. That's our issue.
You got to denounce it.
Exactly.
If you're a white person in the neighborhood,
right,
and you see a white guy put up a Confederate flag,
sure,
and you know it's black families in the neighborhood, Spanish families, Asian,
sure,
whatever, you should be like, you should really take that down, man. That's not what I want our neighborhood to represent.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that goes into a separate issue on like private property. I mean, I think the Confederate flag is detestable. I want to get to that eventually. But if you know that there's a terror cell of white supremacists in your neighborhood, notify motherfuckers. Yes. Snitch. Tell the police. Tell people what's going on here because no good can come from that. And here's furthermore to white people who like to say, hey, Muslims, why don't you make sure you talk about the terrorists in your community? Tell us what's going on. This is your community. Why don't you handle it? Black people, why don't you handle black on black crime and do that kind of shit? Well, it's at your doorstep now, white people.
You goddamn right.
So what you gonna do?
Hey, Vanilla ISIS is running rampant. Vanilla ISIS must be destroyed.
I didn't understand it until I heard it. When I saw it written, I didn't know it was a play on Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla ISIS.
But Vanilla ISIS makes perfect sense.
Vanilla ISIS has to be dismantled and destroyed.
Real shit. It's our issue, and we have to be accountable. We ask other people to be accountable constantly. Yes. It's our issue. We have to be accountable for. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be calling it out. We should all be calling it out.
Can we let the record show? Because we're big on credit here on the Big
Yeah.
We've been saying this for a couple years now.
Yeah.
I've been saying white people have to use their privilege to combat prejudice. Yep. Now all of a sudden, Lady Gaga wants to ask questions. What can non-racist white people do? It's great. That's why I answered her yesterday. I didn't like when I reposted her, people were like, oh, shut the fuck up, blah, blah, this and that. No, ask questions.
Don't be upset at ignorance if you're not willing to answer the questions.
I don't think people realize how clueless some people are. Like, that's just the truth to the matter.
You want to know something real? And we had interesting conversations this week. And they say this in court all the time, the hardest person to defend is someone who's innocent. Because they don't remember what they were doing when they weren't killing somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the same thing.
Where were you on Monday at 3 o'clock? Like, I don't know.
Like, the motherfucker who did it knows exactly where he was.
He's lying.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? He got his whole day detailed. So for a white person who doesn't identify as racist at all, thinks it's preposterous, myself included, there's this part of me, honestly, that goes, I gotta say I'm not racist? What do you mean? Of course, that's preposterous. I'm not fucking racist.
You have to.
What we don't realize as white people is that there is suspicion of possible racism to people who have dealt with racism in their life.
That's why they would call you a suspected white supremacist.
And on some real shit, it's no different than like white people thinking a black person is more threatening because he's black. Mm-hmm. And you've even told me on certain times when you walk in a room, you make sure people are comfortable.
That's what we have to do as black men.
As black men. So you make sure people are comfortable, and Wax, I'm sure, does the exact same thing. I didn't realize until this week, it's like, no, I got to make sure minorities are comfortable. That is my threatening thing.
I wrote about it in my book, Black Privilege. Did I not? Because I wrote about that. I wrote about working with white people, and I told white people how black people think. We all just, a little bit of us is like, he's probably racist. He could be racist, whatever. So white people have to go out of their way to overcompensate for 400 years of motherfucking oppression.
Of course.
That's the truth to the matter.
Yeah. But you do understand how someone who doesn't identify as racist at all could be like, wait, why do I have to explain myself?
Totally get it.
I don't have any prejudice feelings towards black people.
I totally understand.
But now I'm also understanding the fact, I'm now also understanding how important it is to speak out about it, and how meaningful it is to hear from minorities that there are white people speaking out against it.
Bro, this has been the best week because I'm hearing white people denouncing white supremacy. I'm hearing white people say enough is enough. Think about how many years we've said white people act like they don't know this is going on.
Yeah.
Or they try to see the thing with the police officers, like with the unarmed killing of black men, that's still a little bit more nuanced. Mm-hmm. Because it's still a police thing. Like the way black people look at police and the way white people look at police are totally different.
Right.
Black people already look at police like they're the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
White people see police and they really feel like, they're here to protect and serve.
Absolutely.
Right? So when those happen, like some white people are really like, I don't know. Police officers just don't kill people? Do they maybe something happened, or what? Maybe he panicked. Like they think of to us, like, no, this motherfucker's just racist. You know, he looks at black life lesser than he does white people. So it's like that's how you have like that situation was a little bit more nuanced, but this is low hanging fruit, bro.
Absolutely easy,
like this
light
shit,
work.
Charlottesville, West Virginia is a fucking layup.
Yep.
You know how when you see those little Nerf basketball goals and you just run and dunk it because you know you can hang from the rim, like this is what this is.
Yeah.
How can you fuck this up?
Well, that's the craziest thing about this for Trump is Trump fucked this up. Let's take away the fact that he's clearly colluding with white supremacists and clearly colluding with these racists. Let's take away the fact that
he is a white supremacist.
Oh, he is a white supremacist. Absolutely.
He has to be.
Absolutely. Okay, let's remove from that. Let's talk strictly as a politician who's looking out for their best political interests. For a politician, Nazis having a rally is a golden nugget. Everybody hates Nazis. This is a layup. This is a dunk. This is the alley-oop, right?
Yeah.
You get to unify the country.
Easily.
Get to bring both parties together. You get to lock up the 2018 midterms. You get to possibly lock up 2020 by showing strong leadership against anti-American sentiment, which is Nazism, and anti-racist and anti-inequality sentiment, right? This is the easiest thing. You like, honestly, on some fucked up shit, politicians dream of this stuff. So they can come in there on their white horse and save the fucking day. This guy managed to fuck it up.
No, listen. Not only did Donald Trump fuck it up once, Donald Trump fucked it up
twice.
3 times. No. 3 times.
Oh, first one.
First, it was the whatever.
Both sides are wrong.
I hate, but
it's not Jesus and Mero.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta hear both sides.
We gotta hear both sides on this one. Then the second one is the clearly scripted. Yes, I denounced the KKK and whatever. And then yesterday was the freestyle. Okay, that was the Sway 5 Fingers of Death. You know what I'm saying? Like it
was a Tiger freestyle. That's what it was.
The written was on Monday. The written was like, that's shaky. He went in there yesterday and freestyled, and he fucking like, you know what? We got to get him the fuck up out of here. That was my mindset because morally, you can't have somebody like that in the White House.
Explain some of the things that he was saying for anybody who hasn't heard the press conference.
I mean, let me see. Yesterday during the press conference, he said that
he basically came out and said both parties were wrong.
He said both parties were wrong. He said,
and he likened the Nazis to the.
He asked one of the ladies to define what alt right is. What is alt right? What is alt right? Of course, she couldn't define it. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, well, what about the alt-left that attacked them and made them defend themselves? And I'm like, really? And he said that there's good people on both sides.
Right.
No, man. Like, if you're watching this video and you see a bunch of white guys carrying torches and they're saying Jews will not replace us, blacks will not replace us, gays will not replace us, what's good about that?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's hilarious to point out that they're using tiki torches, which are Hawaiian lighting system to showcase white supremacy. Get a fucking lantern.
Get a
candle like Paul Revere.
Come on,
Don't use some Asian shit to showcase how great white people are.
Y'all don't even look menacing. Y'all went into Home Depot, bought those fucking tiki torches, and nobody even thought twice about it. They're having a
party.
They're having a luau. These white guys are having a luau, crazy college
kids. Where'd you guys
kids.
get the pig from?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nobody even thought nothing of it.
Well, this is to what you've said before. I think you have to be mentally retarded, at least on some level, to be racist. And you've brought this up before. And there are several instances to showcase mental retardation. One, the idea of calling yourself a white nationalist.
Yes.
There is nothing nationalist about these people, right? They're supporting Nazis, doing the Hail Hitler salute and wearing swastikas.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Germany fought against this nation. How can you be a nationalist if you're supporting people who tried to destroy us, right? You're there to protest a Robert E. Lee statue that's being taken down. Robert E. Lee, the general for the Confederate Army, a country and army that fought against this nation, right? How can you even say you care about this nation and the values that we have in your title if you're supporting all the people who've tried to destroy it?
Because they don't care about the nation. They care about the ideals
of course
that Robert E. Lee had.
Of course.
Like, that's what they care about. They care about the fact that Robert E. Lee felt like a supremacist. Like he had slaves. Like he felt like they were the better.
I actually don't think
superior
Robert
race.
E. Lee had slaves.
He didn't have slaves?
I don't think he had slaves, but
Come on, man. Back then, having a slave was like having an iPhone, bro.
no, back then, yo, that's
on.
the crazy thing about slavery. Back then, only 3 to 5% of Americans had slaves. Slaves are
Really?
incredibly expensive. Yeah, they were.
That sounds fucked up.
Yo, son, they were. It was like a mortgage.
That sounds crazy.
You would have mortgages on slaves. That's how
Wow.
expensive. Yeah, it was very expensive. But that being said, he fought for those ideals, which is the most fucked up thing about the statue. First of all, we got to get rid of all these Confederate statues. There
Yes,
should
because
never be.
do you know in Germany, like it's illegal, like it's actually against the law to have a statue of a fucking Nazi. There's no
Absolutely.
schools named after Hitler. There's no highways named after Hitler. I'm serious. I'm from South Carolina. We got Strom Thurmond buildings. We got Strom Thurmond highways and shit. None of that shit is in Germany. They're not having that shit. You can't do it. Why isn't America the same way? When Trump said that shit yesterday, when he was like, so where does it stop? What's next? You're going to get rid of Jefferson? You're going to get rid of Washington?
Yeah.
Bro, that's what museums are for. But that is history. It is American history. You cannot deny it. But put that shit up.
Well,
put that shit in the museums and let's move forward.
Well, let's talk about that. Those perfect examples right there. Washington and Jefferson don't have a statue because of their contribution to slavery. Washington and Jefferson have statues because of their contribution to American history. Mm-hmm. The only reason Robert E. Lee has a statue is because he tried to endure the legacy of slavery. That's it.
But like Trump said, Washington had slaves, Jefferson had slaves.
But no. But my point is, Robert E. Lee has a statue because he fought for the South, the Confederacy, to continue the right to have slaves. His legacy is tied with slavery. Not to mention, he's a traitor. Every one of those Confederate soldiers, every one of those Confederate generals, every one of those Confederate politicians are traitors. They fought against the United States of America. It's like having an Osama bin Laden statue.
You made a brilliant point yesterday when you was like, why would you give the losers statues?
Oh, yeah, and they're losers. We don't give losers statues.
Don't get statues.
Unless you care about their values, unless you care about their beliefs, right? And that's all these people are doing. You support Robert E. Lee's values and beliefs. A statue of Robert E. Lee is basically saying on government land that you support slavery.
Absolutely.
So get him the fuck out the paint.
Listen, man.
He did have slaves, by the way. I'm researching.
Are you sure about that? My understanding was that he didn't.
He grew up poor, and it looks like at a certain point, a family member, maybe a family that he married into, somebody died, and he basically inherited the plantation, and he was in charge of running the plantation for a couple of years. And he didn't want to do it. He was like more of a military guy, so he tried.
Yeah, he went to West Point. He went to West
tried
Point
to
with
get
all
out
the
of
northern
it, but
generals.
he did run a
He got
plantation.
clowned back in the day for having secondhand slaves. You got hand-me-down
You
help.
don't even got your own.
Yeah, you got hand-me-down help. Like, I wonder if you get clowned. I wonder if you got clowned for that.
I don't know.
It really bugs me out that we're being so politically correct with racist, prejudiced bigots.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we were talking about pedophiles, you wouldn't give a shit what I called them. If we were talking about fucking transphobic, homophobic people, you wouldn't give a shit what I called them.
Right.
But when it comes to race, it's like, no, don't call them crackers.
Yeah. Well, I think.
I just want to know how else can we separate them? How else can we separate between good white people and these cracker white devils without saying it that harshly? Because white nationalists don't do it. White supremacists don't do it.
Yeah.
Alt-right don't do it.
Yeah.
Like it got to be a clear distinction.
I think what we need to do is call them exactly what they are, right? Which is we can call, if you want to call them crackers, that's fine. I think that leads into more what the David Dukes and Richard Spencers of the world want. But I understand your consistency, so I respect that. I think you call them racist. I think you call them Nazis. I think you call them white supremacists. I think you call them whatever, hate mongers, terrorists.
Vanilla ISIS.
Call them all that shit, right? I think we do that. What I'm concerned about is when the umbrella grows, when we start to call them Republicans. When we start, because not all Republicans.
That's not fair, dude. That's not fair, though. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
But maybe it is.
No.
No, it's not.
Chris, and here's the thing, and here's let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Listen.
Chris, let me just get. All right, you say it, then I'll respond to that.
Trump is just showing us what he's always showed us. This was known about him prior to the election.
That is a fact.
I mean, the fact that his father, who was his hero, his mentor, the guy he grew up learning under and worshiping, was arrested at a KKK rally.
Yeah.
And think about it. Think about how active in the Klan you must be to be arrested in 1924.
Oh man, you a hell of a.
He's going extra.
Yeah, you wildin',
He's going
bro.
extra. think about the white cops in New York City. They don't even
And this
want
New York.
They
That's what
don't
I'm saying.
even
It's
want
like
to
getting
arrest
arrested
you.
for prostitution in Vegas.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
how many,
You know,
how
like,
many hookers you
fucking?
How hard?
You went gay with it. I went straight with
I'm
it.
just saying, like, how hard did his dad have to be going
Yes.
to get arrested?
In 1924.
In 1924.
In
His-
New York at a KKK.
His
rally?
dad was KKK with a capital KKK.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm like, this is not like something that's just emerged, and half
Facts.
the country, almost half the country that voted for him has the right to be shocked now.
He would not denounce the KKK's
He wouldn't
endorsement
do
last
it
year.
prior to the election.
He would not denounce David Duke's endorsement last year.
He hired Steve Bannon and brought him into his inner circle. These guys are known white nationalists. This is not like some big reveal.
So
It's just so much in front of our face. So I'm saying, if
I
you
can't-
voted for Trump, this is what it was. You knew what you were voting for.
there is a responsibility.
The
if you vote
entire
for it.
party
Sure,
is indicted right now.
Sure. No.
Sorry.
No, Chris.
How?
Chris, no.
How?
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you're being.
It's just as easy. It's just as obvious as what Chris is saying. Like it was Republicans who were against him when he was running,
Yes.
and now it's
Not many.
and now it's people that are speaking out. Like Mark Rubio, straight up, you got to denounce whites. No, they were being very direct. Mark Rubio was very, very direct. He said you have to denounce white supremacy. There's no room for neo-Nazis in our country. Like it's people.
Hey, look, all I know is
That are Republicans
my
that are really
father was a
speaking out.
Republican for many, many years.
Yeah.
He walked away from the party.
Great. So here's
That's
the thing.
what you do, guys.
Here's the thing.
That's true.
Here's
You
the thing.
walk away.
Got you. Let me just say this. We have to be very careful we don't fall for the white supremacist trap, which is what you're falling for right now. White supremacists want anti-white sentiment. That's how they recruit. They need this, right? They want the war against white people because that's what they do. The same way that ISIS wants Islamophobia. The ISIS wants people to say what you're saying about Republicans, about Muslims. After a terror attack, basic people go, well, all Muslims are fucked up. We
I
need to
feel
get
what you're
all
saying. I
Muslims out of
understand
here.
what
And
you're
then
saying.
ISIS goes, you see how they treat us Muslims?
Right.
Hey, you see how, why don't you come talk to us for a little bit? What are you doing Saturday? Hey, just come by the mosque, talk to us because you're ostracized in society and nobody cares about you, no one respects you. We're going to respect you. So my point is we call these hateful, racist, Nazi pieces of shit exactly what they are.
Crack-ass, cracker, white
crackers,
devils.
white devils. But once we start umbrellaing that thing out to Republican, once we start umbrellaing that thing out to NRA, once we start umbrellaing
I'll umbrella it out to the
that
NRA, no
thing
problem.
out to all the groups that we didn't like prior, right? All we're doing is ostracizing white people and pushing them towards the alt-right, which is what David Duke wants,
All right,
what
so
Richard
hey,
Spencer wants.
Republicans, we don't want to paint you with this overreaching umbrella. So guess what? Get them
Stand
out
up.
the paint.
Yeah, no,
You
And they
control
are
the
doing
House.
that.
No,
They are
get
doing
him
that.
all the way out.
Keep it 100.
All the way out.
Republicans made sure that healthcare bill didn't get passed.
Barely.
But they did, Chris.
Okay,
He
so
was throwing shots at John McCain for that yesterday. Remember he
Good.
did, during the press conference, like,
Yeah.
who? John McCain, who voted against the health care bill? No, let's be clear. John McCain, who voted against the health care bill?
the Republicans can get him out if they really want to get him out. I don't know what else he has to do.
I mean, they
For
got
them to
to nail
pull the
him
trigger.
on something. I mean,
We
that's
don't.
the
My
truth
point
of
is
the
this:
matter.
you need white people to end white supremacy.
Yes, they made this mess. They got to clean it up.
Exactly. But if we ostracize white people and alienate them from this fight, then they're not going to clean it up.
Once again,
Bring them into the fold.
that's why I keep saying good white people, non-racist white people,
Facts.
white people who aren't prejudiced,
Yeah.
white people who aren't bigots. Stand up and denounce those white devils. Condemn those crack-ass crackers. New York Daily News on the front page of the paper.
Yeah.
The headline was "Sympathy for Devils." Throw the white in there. What the fuck y'all tippy-toeing for? Put sympathy for white devils. Why
Yeah.
the fuck we playing?
I'm cool with it.
And put the writer of that article on the front page, a nice white guy smiling.
Sure.
Saying, yes, this is what we are.
Sure.
We're not them. He's showing sympathy for those white devils.
Sure.
Boom. Like
Yeah.
let's get it popping. Why are we playing?
Dude, I'm absolutely with you. And to the remember what I was saying about proximity? Use your proximity. Liberal, democratic white people don't have the proximity to these hate people. They don't have the proximity to white devils. They don't have the proximity to these racists. You know who does? The conservative NRA members that live in that neighborhood that has a cul-de-sac of white terrorists.
Yeah.
They have the proximity. We can't alienate them from this fight, Chris. We got to bring them in. We got to get, they're fucking up your party.
By
They're
the way,
making you look like a racist. Box them out the paint.
It's a lot of white people right now who didn't even realize they were living next to racists. Straight up. They didn't realize it. I guarantee you that they fucking it just dawned on them like, yo, this motherfucker's really racist.
Yeah.
They know.
No. Telling people, it's
Hey,
a reflection
I got
of
these
your-
guys again. I have these guys in my family. I know.
Yeah, because you know other things, right?
I know
Everything
who
is
they are.
relative. It's like we talk about this all the time on the show. You don't know you're poor if everyone around you's poor. You don't know you're racist if everyone around you is racist. You've left. You live in Brooklyn. You're married an Asian woman, have mixed kids. You understand what racism
And I
is.
understood it before I did that.
So some people don't.
Okay.
All I'm saying is let's not alienate the white people from the fight against white supremacy because we need them.
That's fair.
We need them to help fucking play, and we need to expose these cornball fucking these white supremacists. Like,
Oh, that's what bothers me too, man. The fact that these guys came out there, no mask on, they're not trying to cover their faces. They went right back to work on Monday, bro.
Oh,
They went
some-
right
some-
back.
some of them did.
got
Some
fired.
of them did.
They went right back to their school, right back to schools on Monday. Like how? Like how could you just come out?
That's
show
the
that
comfort level that Trump's giving them.
that's on Trump.
But that's kind of stupid to me because you don't know if your boss is gay. You don't know if your boss is Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if your boss is black. You got to go to school with black people. You got to go to school with gay people. You got to go
Yep.
to school with Jewish people. You got to work with Jewish people, gay people. You're making your own life hell.
Yeah.
These
Because
guys-
motherfuckers aren't afraid.
Yo.
Like, let's be clear. Ain't nobody afraid of none of these crackers.
Well, here's the thing. Did you guys watch that Vice piece?
Yes, I did.
So there was about 19 minutes in when she goes back to the hotel room with the guy who was one of the leaders of the protest. He starts pulling out all the guns from the back of his shirt and his ankle holster and his AK-47s. And I was like, this is the problem, man.
Yeah, but that's
These guys aren't going to keep coming to these rallies loaded like this.
and they're gonna get shot. It's gonna be a
They're gonna
shootout. It's
they're
gonna be
gonna
the
shoot
OK
a lot
Corral.
of people too. That's the problem.
Well, we can't do that. We can't. I denounce violence on both sides, and there's two different things. There's constitutionality and morality. In my personal opinion, it is completely moral to punch a Nazi. I'm 100% supportive
Absolutely.
of it. I see a Nazi, I want to punch him. I see a racist dude, I want to knock that motherfucker out. Unfortunately, well, or you could argue fortunately, in America, that's unconstitutional. We have to allow freedom of speech. We have to allow freedom of assembly.
Do we have to though?
I'll tell you why we have to. It's a choice between censorship and freedom. And in the extremes of both, freedom is always better.
I don't have a problem. I'm not gonna ride with censorship, but freedom of assembly, no. If it's an assembly of hate, absolutely not. Because you know what it's going to cause. You're going to cost your town more money in the motherfucking long run.
Why?
Because you got to get more manpower as far as police. It's going to be people that come out there to fucking be anti-protesters.
Yeah.
It's going to lead to fights. It's going to lead to violence. And it's going to lead to somebody getting killed, like that young woman, Heather, who got killed in Charlottesville, West Virginia. So don't let people assemble when you know it's about hate.
Question.
Freedom of speech, cool. Talk all you want.
Yep.
Talk all you fucking want.
I'm 100%. I understand the sentiment of that. My concern with that is the repercussions.
Leave it up to the state.
I don't know. I kind of agree. I
Leave it
feel
up to
the
the state.
best case scenario
'cause
is
my concern is this: is like who starts to decide what is
Right.
appropriate or what's
Right.
not.
That's right.
Like one way to have this conversation. And again, we're all on the same page. We hate Nazis. We don't want them to say shit. We think they're fucking horrible. But what I don't want is a situation where we have freedom for the things that we all agree with
Yep.
and censorship for things that we don't.
Yep.
But hate is different.
Because that's tyranny. That's what a dictator
Hate
does.
is different.
But even hate
This
is
the same
subjective in a
but
way.
This is the same. No, it's not. This is the same
It is.
country that won't label the KKK as a terrorist organization.
that is
A
wrong.
known white supremacy group. Who
I understand what you're saying
exactly.
too. I understand
so
what you're saying
why would
too.
you let them assemble?
Well, no,
Why?
because
It's a slippery slope.
It's really not.
Look. We understand the most digestible sentiment is to say don't let them come together, right? It pains me to even make an argument for them because I'm so vehemently disagree what they stand for. But allowing freedom of speech is not for the things you agree with; it's for the things you don't.
Would
That's
you let
what the
ISIS
freedom
get a permit? If it was a group of Americans
Yeah, I
who
understand
said
what
they
you're
wanted to
saying.
join ISIS,
Yeah, I understand what
and they
you're
were like,
saying.
we want to have a rally at such and such.
Making a great
Would you
point.
let fucking ISIS have a fucking
You,
rally?
you make an amazing point.
It makes no sense.
So here's the other argument. Here's some argument. Like what we're making the argument for is a preemptive strike, right? Mm-hmm. Right? We're going, let's make a preemptive strike against these Nazis, stop them before they can ever come together, stop them before they can ever coalesce, right? But then we got to keep it consistent because the same people saying we got to stop these Nazis before they come coalesce are not okay with us making a preemptive strike in Iraq for weapons of mass destruction or a preemptive strike in Vietnam for potential spread of communism.
Well, that's a false equivalency, man.
Why?
There were no mass weapons of mass destruction.
How do we
That
know?
is true.
How we know it's preemptive?
No, they found out it was. They knew there was no weapons of mass
You're
destruction.
talking about a domestic thing. Those
Okay,
are
then
imperial
fine. Vietnam was
wars.
communism, trying to stop the spread of communism.
That wasn't about communism, man. That
Yes,
was
it
about
absolutely
money.
was.
That was about
Chris,
corporations. Come on.
Chris, it absolutely was. So,
Listen.
but the point I'm trying to make is, and I understand you're trying to drill this argument, but another perfect example we can use terrorism is Guantanamo Bay, right? Me personally, I am very unconstitutional in my thinking where like, if you're talking to a terrorist, like you said, if you have an ISIS meeting with a fucking terrorist, right to Guantanamo. Bye, Felicia. I don't want you fucking talking to nobody, do whatever. So I have to keep that same energy with Nazis. If you're talking to some Nazis or white supremacists, bye, see you later, get out the paint.
I don't know why we're negotiating with terrorists.
Or like allowing terrorists to assemble, yeah.
This is the funniest shit about this alt-right, white nationalism, white supremacy shit. You're not going to get what you want. What you want is slavery. Again, you want black people in chains again. You want Jewish people to be oppressed and marginalized. You want women to be in the fucking kitchen. You want gay people dead, probably. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna get what you want. So what is the point of all this?
This is the last stand.
Let me ask you this.
This is you're
That's
right.
their last stand.
Isn't white supremacy, by that definition, an admission of white inferiority?
I mean,
think about it, right? Like
either that or it's just like, I mean, come on, man. Let's be clear. If you was ever ruler of everything, like, if you had everybody on your thumb, and your great grandparents are telling you how good it was, you would probably want that again. Power is very
no, but
I don't mean it that way. I mean it like if you really thought that you were supreme, why are you so concerned about competing with other people? If you're
absolutely.
Superman, if you really believe you're Superman, are you worried about a race with Usain Bolt? No, you're fucking Superman. You're supreme. If you're so good and you're so supreme, let everybody in because that only proves how good and supreme you are. You think you're inferior. You don't think you can compete with these Chinese people coming to the country, with Muslims coming to the country, with blacks coming to the country. You don't think you don't have the confidence in yourself, so you're trying to box people out the paint so that you can be supreme when it's only you.
That's the crazy
It's
thing.
inferiority, this white supremacy shit.
That's the crazy thing about white supremacy, right? And salute to Mr. Todd. I just thought about this because I'm going to get a pie from Mr. Todd. This shit ain't pie, bro. Like, we're not fighting for equal slices. Just because I want my civil rights and my civil liberties and I want my equality, it doesn't take anything from you. Like, you're still going to be white. I'm still going to be black. We just all want to be treated equal. We just all want fair shots. Fair chances. May the best motherfucking man, may the best motherfucking woman win.
Meritocracy.
That's it.
Treat it like sports.
Shit ain't it's not difficult. Throw the ball in the motherfucking air and let's go.
This is what white
Make sure the officiating is fair and let's fucking go.
This is what white supremacists want. They want a world championship, but they're the only country invited.
It's stupid.
So you're not getting a world championship.
Word up.
You know what I mean? Let's have the Olympics for real.
Absolutely.
And I think, I don't know, me personally, I think that someone who truly believes in what they can provide and what they can in their ability thrives off competition. Like you're somebody I use as an example of someone who's confident in their skills. You often say, I love the heat. Like I like a little conflict because it makes me sharpen my fucking weapons.
I don't know how to live without it.
So
if some time goes by and I'm like, damn, ain't no friction. Like, what the fuck? Why everybody smiling? Like, what's up, yo?
What you up to?
What's going on, yo? What the fuck? Why everybody? I don't want everybody agreeing with me. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like a little friction.
You want the competition.
That's how I know shit is moving. That's how I know things are changing. Like, diamonds don't become diamonds because it's just easy.
Pressure.
Pressure, motherfucker.
Give me the
pressure and heat.
You don't think LeBron is loving this shit?
Man. That's
LeBron in the gym every day.
That's why I like when I say crack ass cracker or white devil,
sure,
people feel something. Like, man, don't call me that. That's exactly what I want you to feel. Because I don't want you to be that. And I want you to denounce that. That shit is scum of the earth. That shit is pitiful. That shit is terrible. Why the fuck are we negotiating with terrorists? Why are we fucking like coddling white supremacists and bigots? They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. So why do we care what we call them?
Because they're in the White House.
And to anybody who's considering joining this group, be very aware that Richard Spencer and David Dukes of the world and the John Kessler, who's the guy who organized it, they don't care about you all either. All they're doing is the path of least existence to political
Resistance or existence?
No, least resistance.
Okay.
Basically, what these guys are, they're all phonies, right? I got a picture on my phone. I'm going to go through 10,000 pictures to find it. But I remember we were thinking about having Richard Spencer on the podcast, and I wanted to bury him. So I did some real research. I went to his personal Facebook page, and I looked back years till he was in college. There's a picture of him campaigning for a black dude for like state or city council. Right?
Yeah.
This dude is a phony. John Kessler, the guy who organized this march, he voted for Obama, apparently. One of the times. Maybe it was the first time. I don't know the history of David Duke, but the point is all these guys are typical, couldn't make it in politics, couldn't have influence, weren't good enough. So they took a fringe movement and did some exaggerated bullshit to get credit and popularity. They're no different than like a rapper who starts beef because he can't make good music. They're Stitches. They're the fucking Stitches of the world. That's literally what they are. If you were good enough at politics, you would have made it already. Right. But no, you had to make some outlandish waves in this fringe culture to make enough to get enough attention to do it.
I wouldn't doubt if they weren't just doing this shit for attention.
That's all it is.
Well, they are.
They may not believe none of this shit.
They believe it, but like my cousin is in this movement. These guys.
What movement? Don't even call it. Why y'all call it a movement? It's not a fucking movement.
This world. I don't know how to describe it.
Terracell.
Loser.
Vanilla Isis.
Loser.
Oh, dude, they're
the
dorks.
biggest loser in my family. Like, I'm sure
fuck you up now.
Fuck him. But listen, like
that Lyme disease ain't here now.
no, seriously, fuck him though. But these are the guys who couldn't get girls in high school, didn't have friends. This guy came to my wedding. I thought he was something. He followed me around the night before our wedding at the dinner, lovely dinner. All he wanted to do was talk about guns and M16s, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is the matter with this kid? Can't socialize, can't make friends, can't interact with people.
Yeah,
they have nowhere to go. And this is who will take them.
Couldn't you also be describing ISIS right now?
Absolutely.
Like, think about it. They're the same. I honestly feel no differently in terms of the strategy of gaining followers. ISIS and these white supremacist motherfuckers, they're exploiting weak-minded people who are frustrated in their life for their own personal political gain.
I can't get it together. Why can't I get together? Because I'm a loser? No. Because black people and gays and Jews are taking me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Exactly. They're exploiting, dude.
When you look at these couple hundred guys who come out, part of me is almost like, don't protest them. Don't give them any light. Just ignore them because they are losers and they will go away. The problem is Bannon's not a loser.
Yeah.
Trump is not a loser.
Yes, they are.
They're losers, but
you know what he's trying to say.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not dumb idiots.
So we need to shine a light on these guys because it reflects all the way back up to the White House. Stephen Miller, who I believe is Jewish, like these guys are stoking this fire and it's going to get out of control. So
that was weird last night on that Vice special too, because one of those guys was like, I couldn't tell if he was with Trump or against him, because he was like, why would Trump be associating with so many Jewish people, and why would he let his daughter marry that fucking Jewish person?
Kushner.
Yeah, Jared Kushner.
He was disgusted.
Kushner's got to step up because Kushner is a super Jew. What's he going to do right now?
He's modern Orthodox.
What's he going to do right now? You going to let this go on?
Well, yeah, he's got to make sure, and Ivanka has to make sure too, that they're not a crutch. That they don't become the.
My friends are Jewish.
I have a black friend.
I got a black friend.
Right.
My daughter's a Jewish girl. My son-in-law's. How can I be a Nazi if my daughter's a Jewish girl? And my son is Jewish. They have to make sure they're not being used as a pawn. And honestly, I think Trump is so sociopathic. He would use his own daughter.
Oh, it's already happened.
Yeah,
and those guys in turn are so sociopathic that they won't resign, because if Kushner had any morals,
he would have already been.
He would have been like, "Yo, you have this guy Bannon in here promoting this stuff, stoking this fire. I don't care you're my father-in-law. I don't care that I have access to tremendous power. I know what Nazis can do.
Yep.
My family was decimated by these guys.
Yep.
My family was wiped out by these guys. Yep. I'm out of here. He's sticking around. What's that tell you?
Listen, man.
Wow,
I think
self-loathing shit.
I like the conversation, but I just think we're doing too much. We're trying to understand them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it really all boils down to at the end of the day. Like, those are the people that we shouldn't care about their opinions. Because all they're doing is they're fucking up the ecosystem for real, for real. Like, they're making shit bad for every fucking body.
Yep.
And that's why I go back to my original point is, when you say white nationalists, when you say white supremacists, when you say alt-right, how do I distinguish the difference between them and regular good white people.
Well, I think Michael Rappaport brought up a great point. He was like, stop letting them use these
Stop
synonyms.
using them fucking cute-ass names.
Don't let them be cute.
No.
Call them exactly what the fuck they are.
Exactly.
Nazis, white supremacists,
Crack-ass crackers,
white devils.
White devils. Like, why are we romanticizing this shit? Like, why are we trying to make this shit sound cool?
And keep it real, yo. White people hate these people too.
Yes.
There is no kinship that we have. White people have gone to war to fight these ideas. Hundreds of thousands, actually millions of white people have died to fight these ideas.
It's always been white supporters. It's always been just good, decent white human beings.
Absolutely.
Like, and in every moment in time.
Those white people win.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a reason why there's no more Nazi Germany. There's a reason why the Confederacy was squashed. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing we need right now more than ever is unity. I want y'all to all go watch that Vice special because, I don't want anybody to think that this is a black and white thing because those Nazis, alt-right, white nationalists, white supremacists, white devils, crack-ass crackers, they don't like any marginalized oppressed group. They don't fuck with women. They don't fuck with gays. They don't fuck with blacks. They don't fuck with the brown. They don't even like you pouring disenfranchised white people and they pouring disenfranchised and white. Like the white supremacists, the big dogs, Steve Bannon and Donald Trump, you think they give a fuck about them little
Wouldn't
hicks?
cross the street to piss on you if you were on fire.
Fuck out of here, man.
Disgusted by you.
Come on, man. So if it makes you feel better.
If you think Trump is your buddy, try to go to one of his golf clubs.
Right.
See if he'll let you in.
You get that
with
piece
your
of
white
shit.
ass. Just say, I voted
man.
for Trump and I'm a white guy. Let's see if you get in.
Get him out of here.
Off my porch or off my lawn or whatever the fuck that saying is.
So my whole thing is this. I feel like it's
what do we do moving forward? What is
moving forward? I feel like every marginalized and oppressed group, along with our white allies, the good white people out here, we just got to unite. That's all it boils down to. It's good versus evil right now. It's not conservative versus liberal.
Right.
It's not Republican versus Democrat. It's not left versus right. It's
it.
good versus evil.
Love it.
Right versus wrong. God versus Satan. And if you voted for Trump, just say you made a mistake.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
This is the
okay.
thing. We're forgiving of people who make mistakes. We're capable of doing that. That's okay because I personally don't assume that you voted for Trump because he's a white supremacist or supports these white supremacist ideals, whatever. You could have voted for Trump because you really thought he was going to open up a coal mine.
Absolutely.
That's fine. Now you see what this has caused. Now you've seen that he's raised a comfort level amongst racists that they're willing to take the hoods off. That's got to scare you. And that's got to concern you, right? That's got to concern you.
It's too normalized.
Way too
Think about that. You know how normalized it has to be for they to say, fuck it, we're not putting our hoods on.
You know what it is? You ever
they
have
put on the fucking khakis with the polos and the red "Make America Great Again" hat? We can see you.
They wore the Jake from State Farm outfit.
No, that was Donald Trump on the golf course outfit.
What is the Trump?
Yeah, that is.
That's specific. That was specific.
Facts. So yeah, man, it's one of those things that you have to denounce.
You have to.
I understand for any white people listening. I understand why you think that you don't have to because you're like, well, I already don't associate with this. You have to understand. Denouncing it has value to not only yourself, but other people. They need to know that they have allies in this fight. It's very important.
And silence is a cosign.
Yep.
And it's bad enough that we don't even know who, like it was a lot of, he said it from day one, a lot of sneaky Trump supporters. People don't want to admit. So now they really don't want to admit because they're either going to give up the fact that, you know what, I do agree with this shit. We do need to get our country back. Or, I fucked up. And I don't want to tell anybody that I fucked up because then they're going to be like, well, maybe you're a racist. Even if you admit you fucked up, they'll be looking at you like,
I will.
I don't trust him. Well, listen, man, that's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is I can just tell y'all that, man, I feel like, all good white people, all non-racist white people, you got to condemn these crack-ass crackers and denounce these white devils. Jewish people, LGBT community. We're all in this together because that alt-right neo-Nazis, they don't like none of us either. They don't like none of us.
Right.
None.
Right.
So we gotta link up, man, and
impeach Trump.
And it's deeper than that now.
Well, because we haven't even talked. I mean, we've spent all this time talking about what happened in Charlottesville. We haven't even talked about North Korea.
North Korea. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like the stakes have never been
this high. It is amazing to me. Donald Trump is the first person I've seen in a long time who actually lived up to his billing.
Right.
Like there's no hype. There's no hype.
And we're like, what, 6 months in?
We're not even 200 days.
Yeah.
Think about it. Everything we thought about Trump, everything they said, oh, he's going to get us all nuked. Oh, he's going to divide the country and cause a civil war. It's happening.
Fast.
Y'all really going to go through 3 more years of this shit?
No, I can't. I thought I could hold out for 3 years. That's impossible.
No. I got my guys in here, man.
Yes, sir.
They have, I don't know if y'all have seen all of these. We call them cards for the culture.
For the culture, baby.
You know, they're online. They're like Martin trivia cards and house party trivia cards and different world trivia cards. You know, while you're waiting for the alt-right to come protest through your town, you got to kill time before the rally starts.
We got to come together.
Y'all gonna end up coming together if everybody playing these games.
Yep.
It might not be a rally.
Now, what gave y'all the idea for these cards, man?
All right, so basically, like, Republican Company is our parent company. So with that, we had decided we were going to start these sub brands. So that's where we decided to do cards for the culture. We just started a sports agency group. What else?
Agency group.
Yeah.
Great
Y'all
area
sports
sports group. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Remember the day you saw me coming out of
did
MSG?
see you.
Yeah.
Goddamn
Yeah.
MSG.
Yeah.
I told you.
We
That
got
was the
the-
day. Yeah.
we
that
got
was
the-
the day we took that first step.
Right.
on the
You
agency
Quit
side.
MSG that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, transitioning out, man. It's about
Yeah.
to happen.
Oh, you haven't quit yet.
Yeah, I mean, I have to get officially licensed, and once that license goes in at the end of the month, I'm no longer eligible to work at MSG. So
Oh, wow.
it's
Yeah.
go time.
Oh,
Yeah.
once you become an agent, you can't.
Yeah, because I mean that's an NBA property at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
So that's a
Right.
conflict.
Who are you working for?
So I'm on the Liberty side. I'm chief of staff for Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
You know, former Knicks exec, but he's running the Liberty now. You know, part owner over there. So.
Yeah. No. What agency? What sports
Oh
agency?
no,
We
Great
start
Area Sports Group.
Yeah, we
you
starting our own
started your
thing.
own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were
Oh,
just
I
in
hate
a.
that name.
We just in. Hey, wait.
I hate that.
We got
Look, Great
it's-
Area Sports Group.
I'm explaining to you.
yeah.
First off, that's our last name, but
Yeah.
when you
Oh,
look at
Great.
Yeah,
our last name
Great.
is Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris came in to try to help and he broke
Yeah,
something.
broke the
I'm gonna try to hold it
Jesus
down.
Yeah.
Christ. What Chinese player are you trying to sign that Chris is trying to sabotage? What
Yeah.
No, but like the whole gray area thing is you have two approaches to the business. You can be completely independent like the LeVar Balls of the world, and then you have the industry as it is right now where the players go play and the agents do the work.
Yeah.
We're trying to work in that middle ground, and we're going to consider that the gray area. Empower your clients,
Yeah.
teach them the business and the process, and at that point, it'll become a more fruitful, organic, circular thing, and that's what we're
Right.
trying to push with
So
that.
how you sign clients?
Well, I mean, for starters, man,
I guess you got a little saliva.
a little spackle.
Yeah, a little nervous.
It's on video too, bro. I don't want you to look
Man,
crazy.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Appreciate that.
I'm not letting that rabid dog
Yeah.
represent me. He's got rabies. My agent can't have rabies.
No, man, but like I took the leap, to jump into that business, 2-3 years ago. I was the oldest intern in the NBA.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
With that, I built my network, got those resources, learned the business, and I had an opportunity to represent guys unofficially by just giving them guidance and consulting for the past 2 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Guy got drafted top 3 last year, and then this year, undrafted guy got picked up with the Nets with a free agent, a training camp invite.
Oh, that's cool.
So so those two relationships are what's gonna start it. That's what it's all about.
We were able to fund it through our cards for the culture business.
Yeah.
We turned the $40 investment to a $500,000 business in
Wow.
less than a year with no money, no investment, no
major
major
back-
marketing,
rights
no
to
major
do it.
backing or nothing, like just organic growth. And, it's something, it's a very, very underserved market, people looking to do things together, and we gave them the medicine.
Where
to
are
do
y'all
it.
from? Chicago, right?
Chicago, South Side.
Two young brothers from Chicago turned
Yeah.
a $40 investment into a $500,000 based off these cards.
Card
Now, maybe
game.
we're not explaining what these cards are. If you haven't seen them online, then you
Yeah.
probably don't know what we're talking about. Explain to them exactly what they are.
Okay, so we took something that we were passionate about and then became entrepreneurs. The Martin
Right.
Show, that's relatable across the generations.
Yeah.
Kids today, millennials,
Right.
people born in the mid 80s, 70s, they all can relate to Martin. So
Yep.
we
A lot of
figured
these kids are younger. Explain to them the Martin hysteria.
Reruns, though.
Yeah.
Martin's constantly playing on TV.
No, I understand,
Right.
but like the way that people came to school or that we come to work or whatever like that on a Monday after Game of Thrones, this was the same thing on, I think, what was it? Thursday would be Martin, and then
Martin in New York Undercover.
and then New York Undercover, right?
Yeah.
So Friday morning, so Friday morning in school, that was the conversation,
Except
right? That was
people
the lunch table
were
talk.
reenacting these
course.
different scenes because it wasn't a social media then.
Nothing.
So they come into school quoting
crazy.
Martin.
You
they
had your
come
hot take?
yeah, like they come in there, talking just like Martin. So know, that was their way. That was their, social media. How they were able
You had to wait a whole night for your hot takes.
Exactly.
couldn't-
But it
couldn't
gives
even
you the whole
text
night
your boys.
to
You had
perform, stand in the mirror,
ready,
like,
man.
this is what I'm gonna do
kill it.
when I
Definitely
get to
practice
school.
with your brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly.
Wait to call a young girl who had a little unkept kitchen in the back.
Yeah,
BDD.
like he showed you, like he was the king of roasting. That's what we say in Chicago,
Right,
where
right.
you talk about people that you don't like, and that's what people came to school to do.
Man, there was one of the things that I grew up watching Martin, right? And I never watched Seinfeld, which is quite rare for a comedian, right? Seinfeld's like the gold standard of
Especially a
sitcoms,
white comedian.
especially a white comedian. Right? So, but I never, and I'll tell you why. I loved Martin so much. I think you talk about the roasting. So Martin would make fun of Gina's head,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
And what I thought was so funny and real about it is, in real life, that was Gina's head size.
yeah,
He wasn't making fun of a character.
No.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was making fun of this fucking lady's head.
But they made with his ears.
With his ears, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, it's a fake show, but what we're snapping
Sleeping
on is real
stuff.
shit.
Like they
Yeah.
talked about Tommy's bald head all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
so how am I gonna go watch fucking Kramer
Cold,
walk
fat-ass,
into the room?
white,
goofy?
fat-ass girl, Big
Yeah,
Shirley.
Rick Shirley. Yeah.
All I'm saying, there was an element of realness to it that I
Exactly.
related to outside of just a storyline.
Yeah.
right.
And-
Like we were really roasting these people's real lives.
And Martin has a cult like following. Like I was at a game night one night, and it's 4 people playing spades, and it's like 10 people on their phone, and another 10 people having a conversation, and I'm just sitting there like, I could create something that we all could come together and play these games, and we don't have to worry about being on the phone. And the next day I went home, went on Google how to make trivia games. I created this Martin Trivia logo, ordered it the next day. The next week came, and boom. I called Rick. I'm like, all right, we got the games. We need a caption or something. We had posted, because we were doing like just the Martin shirts and stuff. So we already had, this time last year, we only had like 4,000 followers. We had like 21K now. And I was like, all right, I got this last $40. I'm either going to pay these bills or I'm going to take this chance. And I was like, you know what? I'm a big dreamer. I take risks. I have no issue spending my last because I believe in something. And, we posted it. I didn't have nobody to call to get money for overhead. So I'm like, forget it. I'm going to do a pre-sale. And I did the pre-sale. We got like 150, 200 orders. I used that profit to get the overhead. I took a little money to pay the bills that I had coming up. Because I literally had $147.27 sleeping on my girlfriend's couch in the basement. Like we just got an office. Like was still sleeping up in her basement for the whole time, just grinding.
What's your name? What's your name?
I'm Jason.
Jason and
I'm Rich.
Rich.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that I feel like every entrepreneur remembers their last $150.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I swear to God, you speak to anybody who started their own business, they remember the point in time where it came to
you had
this
to make
might
that
not
decision.
happen.
Yeah, you have to.
I even remember even with stand up, but it's interesting that is a moment that's emblazoned in our mind.
October 2015, I quit my job. I only had like 3 months of bills saved up. I was pumping my gas, and I was like, I'm tired of my supervisors. They won't believe in me. I was working at Malcolm X College as an educational specialist for the Upper Bound program, helping underserved high school students get into college. And I'm just like, I'm gonna take my future in my own hand and create my own opportunity, as my man would say. And I created the opportunity, and look, and this is where we ended up. And
I was scared for y'all one day because I posted the cards on my Instagram.
Yeah, we need to get into that one.
And then Martin posted a bunch of eyes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rick, I'm out of town, and I called Rick, and we just on the phone like, all right, how are we gonna approach this? We having this conversation. We like, don't panic just yet. We gonna figure this out. And
because that ain't the first time we've had a scare like that. Like
Who else did it?
I mean, we did it self-inflicted. Like we were like, all right, it's getting a lot of buzz right now. A lot of eyes are coming on it. Let's get in front of this bus now.
Yeah.
And so we reached out to Warner because they own the show.
Right.
And we reached out to that legal department to try to see if we can try to get a licensing thing going.
Yeah.
Man, we found out that they didn't even own the rights to the logo.
Right.
So what we were able to do was go on to USPTO, the trademark website, trademarked it ourselves.
Yeah,
and
we
now
trademark.
This is trademarked.
Martin's. So Martin's logo is owned by you.
Yes.
So
you
they
guys
decided,
own
because
Martin.
they never got into merchandising.
Yep.
So if they got into merchandising, then they would have to call us, and we can
License
figure
it
something
to
out.
us.
And
So you need to put some eyes on Martin's page.
Yeah,
That's what you need to do.
I mean, we
immediately.
can, but we
Martin's
sent
the god, though. That's
But yeah,
the
but he DM'd us. He said, yeah, he DM'd us that day. And he was like, he loved what we doing, and we sent them some games, and the rest was history.
It's crazy though because probably back then, like a lot of people weren't up on their business the way they need to. Like right now, you're not doing no TV show, no movie, no nothing without getting a piece of the merch. Or
Exactly.
owning the trademarks or
Yep.
anything.
Yeah,
Back then, they
so-
probably weren't even thinking about that.
Exactly,
kind of
and we almost were gonna be in like a $500,000 debt into them, and he woke up the next morning like, wait a minute,
We're not doing that.
we're not doing that. We don't have
No,
to do
sir.
that. He trademarked it, and everything got cleared. And
That's the
stuff.
season.
What
you know?
about the other stuff like House Party, Different World?
Yeah,
You can look them up
we
one
look
by
'em
one,
up.
owned by Republican company.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I love you too, boy.
Yeah.
Chris is saying, whisper in the back. Chris is trying to trademark some shit.
Chris is like, I'm gonna go trademark MASH.
Yeah, so I mean, in the whole
Fresh off the boat.
but yeah, we was like the whole thing was because this last year we were like this year we were like we weren't, how Amazon, they started off just doing ebooks, and I called him, I'm like, we could do the same thing with these trivia games. And that's how we started, and we said we was gonna build the biggest e-commerce trivia library in the world, which I can say that we have just independently, like we have the most games. Like we created over 20 games in less than a year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's
More games than No Limit
Yeah.
CDs in the 90s.
I respect the hustle so much, man,
Yeah.
because like Jay-Z says, financial freedom is our only hope.
Yeah.
And like this is like a very unorthodox way to make a dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you young and you black, like everybody wants to run the entertainment, everybody wants to run the athletics. Like y'all really used your brain and y'all are using something from the culture.
Yeah, that's why we said cards for the culture. Like
Go ahead.
these people, they crave this stuff. Like people are looking. See, everybody want to get into the app space, which I understand, but that is underserved. The market of bringing people together, and we noticed that, and I was like, people want to come together. Think about all the
Give
things.
people a reason to put their phone down.
Yeah, like think
it
about
is.
all the things now that's big, Henny Palooza and Trap Karaoke. These people traveling with 2 Chainz and traveling all over the world,
Shout
but
out to
people
Cass,
want these
man.
experiences, but they
events.
don't know that they want it until something is in their face to say, here you go. So they go on the website, say, oh, we got to get these trivia game nights. Like that's what it's about.
There's an effort I feel that's being made to get off our phones, like Charlamagne
You got
just
to.
said.
Yep.
You got to disconnect from technology to
have
reconnect
to.
with yourself.
Dude,
Yeah.
I actually bought an iPad that I'm planning on, but I'm too much of a coward to do it just yet, but planning on putting all my social media on there so I'm not just on my phone all day. But if I have that mentality, other people are sharing
Yeah,
that
because it's
mentality.
fucking with us. I was in the gym yesterday, wrapping up my workout. Struck up a conversation with this dude. We started talking about anxiety and shit, and he was telling me that he was having trouble sleeping. And immediately, before he even said what he was going to tell me, I knew why he was having trouble sleeping.
Right.
His fucking phone.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, he checks his phone before he goes to sleep. He sends out emails. He sends out texts before he goes to bed. When he wakes up in the morning, first thing he does.
I read something
look
where
at
if
the phone.
you keep, you got to put your, because your brain is like a computer and it's still computing everything that's in your
Yes.
phone. So you got to put it all the way on the other side of the room to get a decent night's sleep.
The LED
like I
light.
read that. Yeah.
The LED light fucks with you. Fuck putting it on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Take it out the room, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Like, take it out the room, put it in a whole other room. And when you're ready to lay it down, like around 9 o'clock, 9:30,
Shut
and
it
just
down.
fucking shut it down.
Yeah.
Disconnect. I was listening to Ariana Huffington on Oprah Winfrey's podcast this morning. She said she takes her phone out of her room.
Yeah.
And just leaves it in a whole other room.
Dude, we're addicted. That's
Oh, it's
addiction.
bad.
When
It's
you
bad.
need
It's
to
bad.
take something out of the room so you don't use it,
It's
because you
bad.
have that little control.
It's bad. It's bad, yo. It's bad. Like,
Touching
you'll
your
find,
phone and texting is like muscle memory now. It's like
It
a
is.
natural movement.
Dude, have you ever gone on your phone to do something like you said, I'm going to put this in my calendar, and then upon opening your screen, seeing 5 other, a text message, a tweet, whatever,
Multitasking,
start replying,
distracting you.
and then you don't even do the original
like,
fucking
I always
thing. you
happen
meant
to be
do
like,
on your
what did I
phone.
come to my phone to
Yeah.
do? Like it's a real distraction.
It's that shit
So-
when you walk in your room, you're like, what was I trying to get? Why am I here? That's
Right.
what every time
and
I
you
go
check
on
it for no reason. Like, I keep looking at my phone. I'm not even expecting a call. I'm just
Right.
looking, like, for no reason.
to scroll.
Yeah.
Listen, when I went to Dave Chappelle's show last week, when you walk in, no matter who you are, they take your
I
your
was
phone,
there. They put it in
put
the
it in
bag
the pouch.
and lock
That
it.
shit was the greatest 5 hours I've had in so goddamn
Exactly.
long.
Forgot you even
I'm
had a
serious.
phone, like,
I
that.
forgot I had a phone because and you're forced to sit there and like actually listen to the jokes, which I do anyway.
Right.
But I can't stand when motherfuckers watch shows and shit through their phone. That's so.
I was at a Kevin Hart night, man. So you already know.
Oh, they not
Chris
playing
Rock,
that.
then Kevin Hart, then Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And,
was
and
crazy.
everybody
DJ Khaled
was
got
so in
kicked out.
tune.
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously?
He was my buddy was in like up close in the same row as him. Khaled brought out his phone for some shit, and they were playing.
What did he do? Put it in his sock? Because they was checking those at the
They
door.
must have, or maybe they're not checking Khaled. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but
Or they thought
booted his ass.
Khaled, or they thought Khaled, being a celebrity, would have more respect for the craft, not to pull out his goddamn phone.
He thought it was sweet though.
Yeah. You gotta go.
Wow.
Adios, man.
But let me play. I'm gonna ask y'all some questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions, Andrew.
Let's go.
We already.
What record company did Pam work for? Is it A, Def Jam Records, B, Stay Black Records, C, Universal Soul Records, or D, Keep It Real Records? This is from Martin season 5.
See, I don't know.
D, Keep It Real Records.
I had no
Yep.
clue. Yeah.
Oh, you got to get this one.
Those are the episodes when they were trying to transition Martin out.
Without
and
Pam.
Pam.
Yeah,
Because they were gonna do a spinoff with Pam.
Yeah.
It was gonna be the Pam. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, this is when
They were
okay.
going to do a spinoff with Pam?
Yeah,
That
they were
was
gonna
the
do a
plan.
spinoff. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Think
Yeah.
about like 5 episodes. You saw like Martin a couple of times, and it was all Pam.
Pam.
She
Yeah.
was the centerpiece of the show.
Yeah.
She had got a job somewhere or something, right? No, that was Gina got
That
a
was
job.
Gina got the job.
somewhere because
Yeah.
they had to separate her and Martin. But then they just kept Martin off of a lot of scenes and a lot of plots.
Yep. They were about to do a spinoff.
They
and
caught a
just-
brick with that though. Boy.
Yeah.
Okay, give me another one. Let me see.
Who repairs Pam's car? Is it A.
Oh, God, I
Jerome?
have no fucking clue.
Matter of fact, go get Wax. Wax is the king of this shit.
Yeah.
Listen, we was in Anguilla.
Yeah.
We was in Anguilla,
He was
right?
knocking them out?
Listen, this is the only time I ever knew Wax to know anything. This way was I was so intrigued because I'm asking him questions, he's getting them on. I'm like, Wax actually knows some shit.
Right.
Pointless.
This is where his memory goes.
Pointless Martin trivia. Like, I mean, killing it. Like, he was fucking a killer at a spelling bee. Like, I mean, breaking every fucking word down. All right, who repairs Pam's car? Is it A. Jerome, B. Roscoe, C. Elroy, or D. Otis?
God, I have no. C. Elroy. I have no.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
the,
the
he
name sounded
mechanic.
familiar. That's
Don't you
all
know
the fuck
no
I got.
good?
That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Like
no,
Young Hezzy, man, you gotta know Martin.
Yeah.
Say what?
I said with a name like Young Hezzy, you gotta know.
I gotta know
Martin.
a little bit
Yeah,
about
Part
it.
of the culture.
Yeah.
Okay, what was Martin's favorite sport? A, boxing. B, basketball. C, football. D, baseball. This is easy. You got this.
B. Basketball.
No.
It wasn't?
Boxing.
Boxing. Remember?
Yeah,
I
so-
thought he was a Pistons fan.
No, see, but what we did with that was that one is more it got his personal life, his stand-ups, everything.
Oh,
That's
real
just-
Martin.
Martin
Oh,
real,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Martin.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Back
yeah,
it up.
yeah,
Back
it's
it
a
up.
little context in there. Yeah.
Martin, the real Martin.
Yeah, because I know on
But
one
the
of his
show, definitely basketball.
Yeah.
He couldn't even function at the retreat.
Retreat,
He was
yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
watch the-
I wonder what the Pistons play.
But yeah, like boxing, even one of his stand-ups that he got a CD for, like he talked about how he wanted to be a boxer growing up, you know.
Like,
You want to know?
Go
You
by
want to know?
Andrew's mic real
Yeah,
quick.
come over here. Come
I'm
here.
gonna ask you some questions.
You
We'll
want to
play the
know a
Martin
real
trivia we was
interesting
playing in
story
Anguilla.
about Martin? And Chris Rock tells a story about how great a stand-up Martin was. So Chris Rock took Martin on the road with him when he was younger. Rock was like an established comedian, but Martin was up and coming.
Right.
And Rock admits to not being able to follow him. So Martin would go up first, and he would just destroy. Nobody could fuck with Martin back in the day. He would just destroy. And I heard a kind of rumor that that's what inspired Rock to develop his kind of like, so what we did? Like, that's
Yeah,
not how
yeah.
Rock speaks regularly,
Right.
right? But
Okay.
he realized in order to follow this guy
Add
who was
some
a
character
beast,
to your
I need to
entertainment.
take
Yeah.
it to another level. I need to add something to it. So
Right.
in a lot of ways, you could credit Martin for making Rock who he is.
Chris does kind of talk like that. He talks like that in person for real.
No, he don't. Chris
We have a
talks.
conversation.
Today,
Chris talks
yeah.
like a professor in person.
Yeah, but it's
hello,
still-
how are
it's
you?
still an
Everything? Yes, I'd like to.
It's still an enunciation of words.
Right.
Like when I saw him recently, he was like, a double wide? A double wide?
He's playing.
He
it
was
up
talking
for-
about
yeah.
my
When
book.
he talks to us white people, he don't do that shit.
Right.
Now, Wax,
Playing it up
this
for his
is
audience.
from Martin season 2, Wax.
Yo.
When proposing to Gina in the park, what did Cole bring? Was it A, flowers, B, champagne, C, the ring, or D, food?
It was a food because he started eating it. He ate it.
Yep.
It wasn't just food though. It's a double.
What was it? I forgot what it was, but he ate it, and Martin got mad as hell. He said he was hungry.
Yep.
It was the champagne and the food.
Yeah. He drunk it. He drunk the champagne too.
And then did the birds noise when he left. Yeah.
This is from
Yeah, but
season 2.
that's the beauty of it. Like you play the game, you playing the game, but you also having this dialogue and you reenacting the scenes. You can barely get through a deck.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah,
It's
you can
funny
barely
as hell.
get through a deck of the
Conversation,
cards because
Yeah.
that's what happens and the night is gone.
How much was Martin's portable CD player that bruh man stole?
Yeah.
$100 A, $200 B, $400 C, $500 D.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much it cost. I wish you had asked me like who took it, or I mean, what movie did they reenact when they was, you know? What I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
I
did
mean,
the
it's in
scene
there
out of,
somewhere. Yeah, it's in there.
What
Yeah.
movie was it?
in New Jack City,
When he
man.
said, Cole,
We had the
sit your
Rock
fine
Wild-
ass down. Yeah. When he had the Rockefeller. And you can see Tommy and them like laughing, like, and that's what made the show so good because they kept that scene. Yeah, but they laughing during the scene. Like he
Yeah.
throws the dog on the table and start
Hilarious.
barking and
Hilarious.
Tommy is
Covering
just
his
cracking
face
up.
almost,
Yeah, like that's the authenticity of that
People
show.
always talk about that SNL shit about how the characters break and everybody like it. It's
Yeah.
like you would see that happen in
all the
episodes
time.
of Martin.
Yeah, on Martin.
The Varnell Hill episode
So-
when Tommy Davidson was on there when they
Yeah.
had the radio station scene.
Yeah.
Man, Martin couldn't even keep his face straight, man.
Tommy is another one. Tommy, I mean, when he wasn't doing crack or whatever the fuck he was doing,
Tommy was
that,
a beast.
Yeah.
that dude was a beast.
All right, let's do one more. Who
What do you mean Tommy dead? Why you talking about he on crack?
Tommy Davidson, man. Not Tommy Strong.
Rest in peace, Tommy
Yeah,
Strong.
rest
I thought you was talking about Tommy, man. I was about to get you, man. I'm like, yo, don't do that to Tommy, man.
That's a soft spot for Martin fans, though.
Yeah.
Come on, yo,
Tommy
chill
dropped
out,
like
man.
Yeah.
that was real.
You know he's a cornball. He's our cornball.
All right, who did Mama Payne spend Thanksgiving with in order to avoid seeing Sonny and Junior? Was it A, bruh man, B, Shanae, C, Cole's mother, or D, Jerome?
Damn. Say that again. Say that again.
Who did Mama Payne spend Thanksgiving with in order to avoid seeing Sonny and Junior?
But you gotta understand, it was two different Thanksgivings, yo.
What
Cause
was
remember, listen for real, because you remember the one when they had the cook off.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that this one where they had the cook off?
Nah.
But the key
Yeah.
of the question is to avoid Sonny and Junior. That's the only Thanksgiving episode that they were a part of.
okay,
So where
he
did
was.
where did she dip off to?
Yeah, she did dip off somewhere. I don't think it was it Shanae?
5,
Nah,
4,
nah.
3.
Did you give him answers? Give him.
Yeah, say it again. Tell me
A,
again.
bruh man, B, Shanae, C, Cole's mother, D, Jerome.
Damn, it's not Jerome?
No,
No, man,
it's
damn.
bruh man.
Remember, he came downstairs and was like, "Your mom's upstairs in my apartment." Yeah, Martin was like, "What?" Yeah, he was dodging.
Damn. And that's the same episode when they had the cook off.
I don't think.
Oh, and the guy had the patch. Oh, Junior.
Yeah,
oh,
when Junior and Sonny came.
yeah,
Yeah,
broke
when
his
Junior.
chest.
You talking
Yeah.
about
It
the
was
Pass
up.
the Peas episode?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the peas like it used to do. Hey,
Moral of the
Right,
story
right.
is
yeah.
you've never heard Wax know any goddamn thing.
This motherfucker.
But that motherfucker knows Martin.
Right.
Pick up the pieces.
Where can they find these cards, man?
Cardsfortheculture.co.
.co is not a typo.
That's right.
Cardsfortheculture.co. And y'all got Martin.
Yeah.
I saw y'all put up Insecure last
We just put up Insecure
put that
just
on before
now,
we
and it's
came
actually they like it's going like they ready for that. But
crazy.
yeah, we just put that up. We like I said, I woke up like Thursday morning and was like, we have to do an Insecure. I put it together, the prototype, ordered it. It came Monday. Took some pictures before I got here and was like, we gonna put it out there and see. And
don't forget
they
we
on
protected it,
Instagram
so don't
right now
try it.
going crazy. Like
We own that, so don't pull it.
People hit y'all up and be like, yo, y'all got me some pussy off those cards.
Hey, a lot of people buy them to play with their significant
That's
other.
what I'm
Like
saying. I
we-
get some pussy off
Yeah,
this. If you
like
get the answer wrong,
you gotta take a
something
shot.
off.
Like
take
like you
something
take
off
a
and
shot and take something off. Yeah,
All
like we
day.
got
You
an
can make
ebook
it
that
what you want,
explains
man.
it.
You
Yeah,
can
like
make it whatever you
we
want.
give people the power to create these different ways to play it.
Yo,
like,
listen, put something at the bottom like a happy ending or something, or a give head.
I know. You can do that with every deck of cards except for the Cosby Show cards, okay?
we've been getting so
Take
many
a
people
pill.
that'll DM us and be like, "Can y'all create the Cosby Show cards?" Like they don't want to put it out there.
ain't touching that
Like
right
we
now.
like, nah, man, I don't
That'd be a
know.
good
Like
one, though.
that's a tough one. Like that.
when all the men was pregnant, what did they have? It's like certain things you can do.
No, it'll be gems, like all the questions off of that. But
Yeah.
I think
we
you can do it off the Cosby Show. know.
Yeah,
man.
just
Come
don't talk
on.
about pills too much.
You doing different world?
Yeah, we got different world. Yeah, we got. Yeah, you know, we just you know, we about to start pitching our first game show idea. We worked hard on like. We about to take it to the next
All it
level.
takes is one, man.
Yeah.
Ovis and Haber from CAA, it took one idea, one game show when they left William Morris, and now CAA is the biggest entertainment agency in the world.
Wow.
All it takes is one, baby.
Yeah.
Listen, I got
That's
y'all
it.
back, man. Cardsfortheculture.co.
Appreciate you.
Salute to my guys, Jay and Rich, man. Please support these brothers. They have created something that is bringing people together. I'm telling you, we played this in Anguilla. I take them with me every time we go to Anguilla, but we played this on the beach and played it for like 2 hours. Just like you just get lost in it.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
So
What's your Instagram? Where they can follow it?
Republic and the Company. That's our Instagram.
It's called what?
Republican Company.
Republican
Republic and
Republican
and Company.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
as always, if you listen to this podcast, you think we're smart, you think we're intelligent, you think we're brilliant, you're absolutely right. If you listen to this podcast and think we're just a couple idiots who don't know shit, you're right too. It's the Brilliant Idiots Podcast. Thank you for listening.